So welcome everyone to our sixth AI Talks session and second session of our AI Adoption Framework series, where we'll be talking for the leadership alignment. Short introduction from our side. We are friends who loves AI, been in IT for a long time and trying to help society and organization to adopt it. In order to become better and more efficient. As usual, our sessions start first with some of the updates in the AI field for the last month, because our previous session where we introduced the framework happened in around a month. So yeah, let's start.
Yeah, I think as far as the news goes, it's very hard to actually capture everything. So we usually, by the time we do the session, we cover pretty much the latest news in the last week or so.
So yeah, I really love, they were a great session by Mitko Vasilev, I think a few weeks ago, about the importance of owning your AI. And I really love what he mentioned is that we can see only 2 days.
Yeah.
So not 1 year, not 2 years, not 5 years, but 2 days. And we can, for example, yesterday they were Snowflake introduced new model. 2 days ago they were
Microsoft
5.2. 5 days ago we got Llama. Actually 1 week ago or something to Llama 3. So it's like pretty crazy. Let's go, let's say 3 weeks or something like this in the past. On our last session, we discussed the Opus, Claude 3 Opus, and actually we had the opportunity to use it, I would say a lot in the past month. So I think it's really good for creativity task. It's providing much more details than the latest version of GPT-4. Be honest, I'm using it much more than GPT-4 right now, almost every day, and almost each day I'm hitting the quotas. And yeah, definitely great work by Anthropic folks. It take, I think, like 2 weeks for OpenAI to introduce their latest version of GPT-4 Turbo, which again, based on some of the industry standard benchmarks, get the crown back. But we all know benchmarks are pretty.
Yeah, by now it's more marketing, because whoever takes the crown at the time is, there's a lot of hype about it. So the first thing when you roll out a model, it seems that you have to publish some benchmarks, and they can be twisted and manipulated a bit to show where models can excel specifically in what areas. But as we know, GPT-4 Turbo is one of the best model, if not the best, almost all the time, and everybody's trying to compete with that. But like Nikki said, it's the Claude 3 Opus has some unique capabilities when it comes to text generation. And I still find GPT-4 a more all-around model to do more tasks, especially when it comes to code generation. But yeah, the arena is getting pretty heated when it comes to models.
Absolutely. And before moving to the most interesting part, which is the huge amount of open source models announcements, we're still waiting for the answer from OpenAI. We still believe that they're ahead of on the other competitors, and they're just waiting. So while there's, let's say, some small small competition between the big models in the field of open source community, there's again, there were multiple announcements. I'm not sure if we covered in our last meeting the Mixtral 8, the mixture of expert model, which is the 8 multiplied by 8 experts, 22 billion each. And before that,
I think it showed up between.
Actually, yeah.
that's
So
what I mean.
let's now I think Databricks put a lot of effort. There was some estimation of how much money they put it for marketing, promoting their DBRX model. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't try it at all because I thought to try it. But on the next day, Mixtral dropped the torrent link directly in X, and yeah, it actually took just 1 day for such a big difference. And yeah, Mixtral model was really good. I would say it's these guys are doing great job.
Yeah.
We've been able to run it in our laptops, home labs, and yeah. But the biggest news in the field is Meta dropped Llama 3, which is, in our point of view, it's really big update, and the model I'm using constantly, especially for our agentic work. We are using constantly the larger model, 70B, and I would say that it's really close to GPT-4 and Opus, at least for the majority of the tasks that are used. So for agentic frameworks, I think this is really good. We also use it the smaller model, but and also the results are good, and the speed is incredibly fast, which is also something. Remember we discussed in one of our previous session that the one model is good, but you have to measure how good it is. You have to combine the accuracy with speed. Because if we wait a lot, it doesn't make any sense.
The 8 billion one will definitely be one of the most popular, I think, in the next 6 months at least. Just because the previous Llama 2 was the 7 billion was the basis of so many models that were fine-tuned. And I think we should give some props to Facebook and Meta by supporting the open source community, because we obviously put a lot of energy and effort to create this model and just give it out for free. So it's something to recognize. You don't usually get this sort of behavior from Facebook. You know, they have a different anyway.
But in any way, so just some numbers. With 23090 cards, we can hit like a 17 tokens per second on both Windows and Linux. I wasn't able to test it. We wasn't able to test it on MLX and MacBooks, but this will come soon. My friend here is waiting for his new M3 laptop, and mine is a bit old, let's say, with M1. By the way, we are waiting for the new MacBooks. And this time for sure we'll go for the Mac Studio. But hopefully M4 Ultra, but I guess this will happen next year. But yeah, it's the great model, 70 tokens per second. It's not that bad. Of course, Grok, you know, Grok. This company which developed I think it was LPU, language processor units, and the CEO is the guy from Google who developed the TPUs. And they reach 800 tokens per second for the smaller model and almost 300 for the larger. So for agentic stuff, this is like absolutely mind-blowing, and especially for the smaller model. And the price is, last time I checked, it was 2.49 per 1 million tokens or something like this, which is amazing for such a, again, for 70 billion model is outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, this would not be, Grok would not be the company that is if somebody was not supporting the open source community.
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, right now it's pretty interesting, even comparing Microsoft and Azure, so the major cloud providers, because you have pretty good competition. Because the other cloud providers also have some very nice models. So
Yeah.
Bedrock, I think, announced last week that Opus is generally available. I also saw this week such a very interesting announcement where you can bring some custom models.
Okay.
So this was, I would say, it's pretty nice, pretty nice. I don't think the other cloud providers provide such a functionality, and we know that I think it's about 100 models per day uploaded in Hugging Face, fine-tuned with different data set and yeah, for different purposes. But yeah, great success. The biggest news for this month for us, definitely Llama 3, outstanding performance. It also showed how crucial is the data quality.
Yeah.
Because as Nikki mentioned, 8 billion models of Llama 3 is outperforming, or it was pretty close 70 billion Llama 2 model. So
and it's better than GPT 3.5.
Oh yeah, which is this really.
I mean, a year ago,
yeah,
we having the ability to run a better model than GPT 3.5 in your local app and get 50 tokens with a 360 Ti or of 200 or 400 with a 2 GPU rig is the progress is being made, definitely. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen next year by this time. It's probably
remember 2 days.
Yeah, probably going to have 70 billion model running on that.
And
speed.
we forgot, but the Meta plans to open source also their bigger Llama 3 model, which is I think 400 and something parameters.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we are looking forward for the Studio, because the rumors said that it would be with 512 megabytes of gigabytes of RAM, and as you know, the gigabytes are shared there, and yeah, you can run such a big models. But yeah, this model would be amazing. The expectation, what Mark said, is that he expect that GPT-5 would be released before this bigger model.
Yeah.
And
we actually have a question from Miroslav who's on the call. Do we have plans to discuss GPT-5?
No, I mean, for sure it would be much more capable. Our point of view is that for us AGI is already in place, but it's not shared because people are not ready. This is also our based on our experience talking with business leaders. There's still some. The majority of people believe that this is hype. It will take 2 years, 5 years, or some ridiculous numbers, which nobody in our industry is taking seriously, and can see what will happen after 2 or 5 years. For 2, we may have something on very high level, but 5 years is yeah. Anyway,
and you also have to recognize that OpenAI is a different company from any of the others because they have one, unlimited resources coming from Microsoft, so they can pretty much train whatever they want.
Yeah.
And 2, they have probably kind of the biggest team of experts in this field.
Yeah.
And when you combine limited resources and good staff, you can get a lot of things. I think they're focusing on many different avenues since this is a commercial company. They're not only looking to provide the best in class models, but they're looking into some things that nobody else is doing, like the video generation model.
Yeah, that's a good example.
So they are think about OpenAI. They're not trying to compete with any of the other players. They're trying to push the boundaries of the technology. So they're going to be creating things that nobody else have done before. So I don't maybe GPT-5 would not be that much greater in terms of leap from the previous models, but they will open other industries up, like the video generation, where will still be, we saw the demo. It's gonna be amazing to do this.
We'll see. We'll see. And one other important topic, talking about the resources, is what we noticed that majority of leaders, like so Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, all of them are talking about energy. So previously we had this discussion that data would be the new gold. However, as we notice, synthetic data is pretty good. So that would not be the main challenge. The main challenge would be the energy. So if you missed the interview with Mark, we really encourage you to check it. It's well worth 1 hour, where he discussed about large data centers. I think there's even Amazon is trying to build 950 megawatts or something. It was ridiculous.
Close to a gigawatt.
Close to gigawatt data center, and one regular nuclear power plant reactor is about this number, 1 gigawatt, 1 and something maybe. So imagine data center with 1 gigawatt, and they mentioned that this is taking, for having such a data center, is like 5 years in order to get all the regulation, etc. stuff in place. And it's very challenging to put all of these together. So the numbers right now is about 24,000 video cards, NVIDIA video cards in one place. It's like the current limit.
Yeah.
And for training of these really large language models, proximity is crucial. So at the moment, there is at least there's no big success for the large models.
Yeah.
Both of us really looking forward to the project of George Holtz, who is working on TinyGrad, and the one of his latest updates, I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks, something like this, was the ability to combine not closed video cards for some of the, let's say, tasks related to AI. But yeah, hope that, I don't think this will happen on let's say mass scale soon. But yeah, the energy would be the new gold. That's the reason why the large organization is investing in finding new ways of producing energy, like nuclear fusion, etc. There's a lot of news you can see in the other podcasts on YouTube, where when Sam Altman is investing in such companies. And yeah, the biggest, again, the small language models become pretty good, which is really good for the entire community, entire society, makes the adoption much easier and faster, which brings us to the not latest, but latest small family model.
Literally from yesterday or the other day.
Yeah, it was from this week. Yesterday was from Snowflake, which is pretty large, but I think 2 or 3 days ago, Microsoft dropped Phi 3. I think there are 3 models, 3 different models. 3.8 billion was the smallest one, and the biggest was, I think, 14 or something like this. But there's some comparison. I apologize, I'm not able to share it, but you can find it in the internet, which was performance per energy usage. And Phi 3 was like sitting alone, nobody's there. Pretty amazing results.
This will allow many devices that we own to have local models running them on them, like phones, tablets,
air-gapped IoTs,
fridges. I don't know.
Cookers. Well, by the way, there's some.
We're not far from the point where local models will run on edge devices like this.
it will get
TVs.
pretty good performance.
Yeah,
There is, by the way, there's one guy who's the major guy in MLX community who showed the model running pretty good on iPhone 15 Pro.
yeah.
It's got like it was like 15, 17 tokens or
Mhm.
something like this per
Which
second.
is for local usage,
Yeah.
it's great.
Absolutely. And yeah, and the other devices which are coming like
Yeah.
Rabbit R1, the other one
It-
from Open Interpreter. So it's
Having the ability to run this sort of intelligence locally on a machine will be pretty much insane at some point. I mean, you will have the ability to answer questions without any internet connection. This will be very interesting.
And-
What kind of devices will show up?
and even from hardware perspective also would be very interesting because right now only Grok is
Yeah.
providing the hardware which is used in 99%
Yeah.
of the use cases, which is inference. So imagine what will happen when other company and the other companies are working heavily developing these chips which are specifically for inferencing and leaving the expensive NVIDIA cards for training
Yeah.
only, which should be. And yeah, we've been able to test Phi 3 as well. Pretty good result. I still prefer the bigger Llama. For me, it's since I'm able to run it at home, it's no-brainer.
Mhm.
Very good results, pretty fast. Snowflake yesterday brought their Arctic models family. So the general model is 480 billion parameters, which is again some it's mixture of expert model. So it's pretty interesting. It's having 128 models.
Yeah.
Experts, and each of these experts is 3.3 billion. So there is two active experts at the same time with one dense model of 10 billion parameters. So it's let's say it's going to the somehow not that big models. Unfortunately, it's still it's require a lot of resources
Yeah.
just to load it up in the RAM, but then it's
Gonna be fast.
it's gonna be fast if you have this amount of RAM of memory, and you can put it in you can share it, not adding all layers in the GPUs.
And it's interesting how companies who not specialize in AI will start creating models themselves. I mean, Snowflake is a
It's
data-driven company, but I don't think they've been in the AI space specifically.
everybody's in the AI space
Yeah,
nowadays.
nowadays.
That's for sure. And they also brought some models for embedding. I think it was 5 version, so which is also nice addition. As this happened yesterday, we weren't able to test it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably it will be soon. Really, we're looking forward to have better hardware with the ability to run larger models like 400 billions or something like that.
That'll be
parameters.
interesting to test.
Yeah, absolutely. So the lessons learned from the past month is for me that open source community become even stronger. You can achieve greater result with smaller model. This is also great for the highly regulated companies because and this also impacting their or if not, it should impact their AI adoption strategy because now they can have like GPT-4 capable models running on-prem, not leaving any data for any cloud.
Yeah.
Because at the end, if you have really, really critical data, it's better to keep it for you because, yeah. So looking forward, hopefully next week we have another announcement, we'll see. Yeah, open source area, it's amazing. And by the way, I saw also yesterday some pretty nice work from Pika Labs regarding the video. There were some movies which were
Yeah.
pretty good. So that field you mentioned, Sora,
Mm.
but that field start developing pretty
Yeah.
fast as well. It's get up to the
I don't,
similar speed.
I think the companies who are testing out and trying to offer services for video are trying to do their best right now before Sora drops to create some hype and enthusiasm, because unfortunately OpenAI does kill a lot of startups by from the stuff that they're doing. But we're as end users of the technology or implementing the technology, we're benefiting from all that competition. So
Yeah, and
it's only getting better.
And maybe in some other session we may discuss the importance of how some of the non-functional requirement or quality attributes when designing your platform become much more important in nowadays with if you would like to have a floating form and not sinking one. So I think we're good with the update. So let's move with the main focus for today's session, which is the leadership alignment. And
maybe it will be good if we can introduce the framework for just a second.
Just let me share my screen. That's a good point.
Because we started this from the previous
session. That's correct.
So and talk about why we did it in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Nikki, we've been working in the field for a long time. We gathered a lot of experience of cloud adoptions and digital transformation in a pretty large organization, Fortune 500 companies. And we got a lot of lessons learned, not only from, let's say, technology, but people, change management perspective, etc. And also last year we had the opportunity to implement, to be one of the first people implementing at scale Azure OpenAI in large organization and helping with the overall AI adoption strategy, initiative, communication, and all of this stuff, building the platform. So that's why, and because we saw a lot of, let's say, challenging cloud adoptions where everything was adopted in pretty fast pace, not as expected. All the goals put it in the beginning of the adoption were not met or were met differently with a lot of surprises, etc. And that's why we decided to do what we've been missing in early years of cloud adoption, to prepare some kind of framework which everybody can follow and benefit of having structural approach, where can let's say make sure it's not missing any part, because you can be in first, second, third, fourth, or even in the latest stages of your adoption, but you may miss some stuff which you can fix later. So we believe that this would be beneficial for everyone. As mentioned in the previous session, and as all major cloud providers, all of these frameworks are continuously developed. So they continuously evolve. There's continuously adding new stuff, changing new stuff. So it would be the same case. You can treat this as something which is moving, and it's moving pretty fast. Even that some of the major principles stay the same.
And just to mention, this is not theoretical. It's mostly the output from our experience, because it's always important to test this out in practice, just see what the issues are. Like Nikki said, we do reuse a lot of the principles from cloud adoptions because they have very close similarities. But in the AI or Gen AI, if we kind of narrow the scope down, because Gen AI is the kind of the broader the target right now for most organizations, how to adopt it. That's what we're looking at. So Yeah, hopefully it will be useful for other people. We're trying to give back to the community, like the open source models companies
Yep.
were creating. It just we know how difficult it is for people to start with some of these initiatives, and it's always better if you gather some experience from other people who've done this before.
Absolutely. And even that it may look to you that it's pretty similar to some of the cloud adoption steps. There are some major differences. For example, we moved with higher priority and in early phases, the establishment of AI COE, and then let's say crafting the real, let's say, detailed AI adoption strategy and plan the same. But yeah, similarly to the cloud adoption, and actually every big transformation, it doesn't matter if it's in the IT or whatever, it's again the role of leadership. So in today's session, we'll give you some, let's say, advices, lessons learned. We'll share some lessons learned about what you can do as a leader in order in this crazy times with AI moving so fast. We've been talking with a lot of leaders, people which are really driving the navigating the companies, and there's I would say it's the situation become much better than let's say later last year. More and more people start let's say seeing AI not as just as a hype, which will soon will be over, and there's still people which believes that it would took like 5 years in order to for AI to become mature, but yesterday we saw actually OpenAI shared some pretty nice use case and actually success story with Moderna, which is in biotech pharma sector. And you know that this sector, let's say, even that there's a lot of advanced studies there. In general, the majority of the, let's say, the teams inside this kind of organization, there's pretty huge resistance to changes. And their story was quite inspiring. It was really, really well done by the entire Moderna leadership team and OpenAI. But I was amazed that these guys been using 400 different GPTs. And the first one was for the legal team. So imagine how legal team in pharma biotech organization is one of the very first adopting the ChatGPTs. This is really, really amazing and great work. Great example for organization in this field, and not only. So imagine if organization in this field can adopt AI in such a how to say, such an extent. And you are, for example, in consultancy business, and you are not adopting it, it's there's room for improvement. But we got you covered. That's why we're here. So I like what one of the guys of Owin podcast, Shamat, mentioned. AI is in short term is a bit overestimated. In long term is underestimated.
Yeah.
So even
it's a good point.
It's a good point, but even in nowadays you can do a lot with this. So AI and all of these new technologies usually when become day topic for the organization, is like the hot potato, as we like to say in our place. Nobody want to have the responsibility for it. It's this is I've heard that even this is not an IT stuff. So I've heard IT leaders said that it's AI is not IT, so people from the business may take care of it and drive the adoption. So this is one of the situations which you really, as a leader, you have to try to not happen. The impact we discussed previous time with Nikki, that
Mhm.
the impact of AI would be, in our point of view, it would be the biggest one in the entire human history. We saw this in the past. There's multiple examples of how fast it takes for some technology to get some metrics, people, etc. How much time it takes, and we see some new numbers, let's say, in the field. So already AI is reshaping industries, creating new opportunities, make people much more efficient. So Nikki mentioned in our last session that this time we don't have to put a lot of effort of finding
Yeah.
the really right specific use case.
Yes. And we also don't have to convince leadership for the
Exactly.
first time.
Yeah.
It's the other way around. That's how I mean, leadership alignment is definitely differs from the cloud adoption
Yeah.
and the previous adoptions of kind of breakthrough technologies. It seems that because of its popularity and the way the information is spread within leaders right now, they are seeing what other companies are doing. Like Moderna was, their success story was shared, others were shared, and now they can extrapolate the value from AI pretty easily because they can see something being time being saved, and that counts for money in their heads. Now it's more complicated than that. It's more, it's not just numbers, but for the leadership, that it's at least the starting motivation to talk about AI and see what can be done in the respective organization. So, and I think companies who offer AI services take advantage of that because they are rolling out a lot of success stories now for companies that are using it, and this would only move the others as well. So it's like you raise the bar constantly with this.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So in our point, to be more constructive, in our point of view, the leadership alignment phase is constructed, let's say, of three, if we can say, small pillars. So the first pillar is, of course, the leadership commitment, which enables leadership vision.
Yeah.
And vision guides communication. And communication at the end reinforces the commitment.
Yep.
So I think the example from Moderna yesterday, and but also from I didn't want to give example Microsoft, because usually in the past when we had the cloud adoption, everybody said that I'm tired to hear that we are not an IT company.
Yes.
So that's why our cloud adoption is total crap. So this is, and that's why I'm extremely happy to have organization like Moderna publicly available as a great example of AI adoption and really leadership commitment, vision, and communication. In this video, you can see the interview is entirely with, almost entirely with the C-level folks. So
Yeah.
the CEO, the CIO, the chief legal officer. So all of them was talking about AI and how they adopted it at scale. So in this first phase, the most important part is to align your commitment to invest and to drive the organization with the other leaders. So all the C-level folks should sit together, and they should take this as a personal challenge, personal commitment. They have to be personally invest. Each of them shall personally invest in this, covering, of course, the field that they're responsible for. They should communicate. They should have this kind of willing, really, to drive this adoption. I really like what Andy Jassy said, 2019. Again, it was great quote. In that time, he wasn't CEO on Amazon. I think he was CEO on AWS. But he said that this is the main difference I paraphrase it, but it was the main difference between success story and let's say what we see in the majority of the of the time. So really, they should prioritizing AI in their initiatives. For example, they can start somehow divided the initiatives, vendors, solutions which are using AI. And in general, they shall start empowering their, let's say, their people. So also, they shall start not only empowering, but inspiring. Well, here we are more like they have to show the others that they are willing to take risk.
Yeah.
To this very important point, to take risk, because a lot of, especially in some of the sectors, the C-level people are very, let's say, conservative, if I can say that way. They don't like to take risks. They don't like to move fast. They are afraid of making mistakes. They're not following the fail fast model. But in this case, with the AI case, in the AI race, this is critical, 100%.
If I think one of the differentiating factors will be the companies and their leadership who believe in the technology will be more successful, because, like you said, they will take risks. They will have to do the initial investment, upfront. Make sure this is an investment for the future, and you have to have some sort of a belief, because you basically have to convince your folks to start using the technology. So
as I like to say, it's much easier to sell something to someone when you believe that this thing is good than selling the same thing to someone and you knowing that it's not good.
We've seen so many failed initiatives internally in organizations like this for optimization, agile frameworks. We will teach all our employees, and this would presumably save money, but they don't really understand or trust or even believe that this will be the case. It's just something that somebody sold them. And with AI, it's different, because the results are there. They're clearly visible. Once you put the effort in, you get results back immediately.
Yeah, and the important part here is in order to have this commitment, of course, people should know the capabilities of AI. So having some kind of, let's say, going to some forums, some large events where people, similar people discussing like their success stories, their plans, what they've done with AI is, we believe it's really important for the leadership. That's the reason why there's even some foundational certificates, programs, trainings, which even may sound like a bit overkill for C-level guys, but no, it's not overkill. This is something important in order to you and everybody in the organization to understand what are possibilities of AI. And again, if you do not understand them, why you would expect the other people, which are not from the IT, to understand it? Because again, I said in the beginning that this may not be that some people said that this is not an IT stuff as excuse. Indeed, AI is not an IT stuff and can help everybody, but you have to know how it's working, what is required. You have to have the fundamentals, and everybody should understand the fundamentals in order to understand the possibilities, capabilities, and how to start thinking how this can help me, how this can help my team, how this can help my organization. So once the leaders have this commitment, they may have these communities, as we know, there's even in other teams, in the IT teams, we have these, let's say, sessions, internal communities where people sharing ideas. We'll discuss this in much more details in other section, because this is pretty important, significant initiative, and it's part of the general culture change. This would definitely help to the leaders to have this kind of mindset. So once they have this commitment, they can start crafting the vision of the organization. They can start thinking of what they can achieve, what the organization can achieve in, let's say, we shared our view about the short, long-term numbers, so it may be different, but we're talking here really for a high-level stuff. For example, in cloud adoption framework, it was mentioned usually in this first step, you have to define pretty detailed, with pretty much details, to have pretty good measures of your success. However, in the AI field, we believe in two things. First, there's no organization which will not benefit from AI. And the second, at this first stage, is not that important, because on the second stage, you will get the, let's say, the top guys, like AI COE, the folks which understand the technology, the folks which understand the business. We will craft them together, and they can help you to create, like in the third phase, to create your strategy with all the measures, all the details, and we believe that this would be much more efficient, because by yourself, you can do it right now. I mean, you don't, usually the C-level guys, they don't, of course, if they are not from Microsoft, Amazon, or OpenAI, but in the other organization, they can do that. So when talking about vision, it's like just to see the areas, if we can say that way, where AI can help you, can help your organization. One area which with Nikki, we believe it's applicable for every organization, is the improving efficiency in your team. And the funny part is that this is the most, I would say, the area which the organization missing most. Everybody is focused on putting AI in their products, promoting that they're using AI for their products, platform, whatever they are selling, consultancy, and nobody is putting the right tools in the hands of people, which is extremely strange. And this is the really foundational stuff which you should start working on that. And again, I put Moderna again because I'm really happy for these guys, especially when I heard that they're using 400 GPTs in the organization, 400. So, and the company, it wasn't that big. It was few thousand people, like 2 or 3 or something like this.
I think it's bigger, but it's not gigantic.
I checked yesterday, it was 300. So imagine each 10 people have their own GPT. Yeah. That should be the way. That should be the way. And this is totally opposite of the. So let's say that way. We've heard more organization stopping people. The first thing that they do is disabling the access to the LLMs, then enabling people. So.
And enabling them in stages or something.
And whatever, I mean, you can do it. Even you can run, if they are running, you can put Ollama on each laptop with some configuration manager and run Fight 3.
I think we said this so many times now, that the compounding effect of AI, it's so great. When imagine if you have 100,000 people working for your company, and each of them spares 5 minutes of their day by doing something through Gen AI, generating content, whatever it is to help them. And that spares them 5-10 minutes from what the task that they're doing. Multiply that by everyone in the company, you can see how many hours of these days per week.
But, people can be, we say this.
And this is the kind of the minimum thing that you can say. Everything that we're doing on a daily basis has some manual work involved, that I rarely see people that have automated their workflows and work in general. So it excludes simple things that they have to do repeatedly, and they have to generate, think about, note down. And this is so a prompt away usually.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, but each time talking for this, I'm really shocked how it's so obvious and nobody's paying. Not nobody, but a very small amount of.
Think about how many times you search the internet for information and how much
And-
time you have to spend searching and
Yeah.
now
and bringing stuff in
summarizing information,
in some documentation. So
note taking. I mean, it's so many
models
examples.
are best in summarizing stuff. They're really best in summarizing, in creating stuff, and we are wasting so much time per day of so writing an emails, preparing some kind of campaigns, looking at the documentation, searching for some stuff in the documentation. This is like a few clicks, and if it's hard for you, let us know. We can help. Even again, if you're afraid of your data, it's pretty cheap right now with these open source models. They have real licenses where you can use them absolutely without having any challenges.
And this is now when we start. I mean, we and Nikki were working with on autonomous agents and multi-agent frameworks.
Last year.
This is like 10 times
There's
the
no
productivity.
comparison.
I mean,
No comparison at all. And by the way, here we are not even talking for agents because step by step.
yeah,
But even with putting the agents aside,
yes,
it's again one of your vision. The first vision that you can start working on is that so you can commit that you will make your teams 2, 3, 5, 10 times more efficient. And this could be your first, one of the first, let's say, high-level strategy that you can do.
and also this benefits people indirectly because once they figure out they can, I mean, what's the workflow? Leadership gives the tool to the person. The person realizes what they can do in their work, and then they realize they can use the same approach outside of work. And gradually you have this mindset to actually use this tool for even things in your life, searching for information, crafting personal emails, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You get this mentality from using it, constantly, that you as a person become more efficient. So the next time you approach a problem, you don't approach it in your typical manner. You have to do all the investigations and read from things and materials, go to trainings. A lot of this stuff can be done, can be automated in now. And I don't know about the future. I mean, the future will be even more.
Yeah, but
I mean, probably you will not be doing this sort of work anymore.
yep, and I was delaying and postponed having such a post about the efficiency, but I promise I'll do it in the next 1 or 2 weeks. The importance of make people more efficient as soon as possible. So this was one of the examples of having this vision. Again, the important thing here is you don't have to spend much time on crafting, let's say, the strategy, the planning for strategy at that stage for your vision. So you have enough time to do it later. But once you have the commitment, you have the vision, the commitment between the C-level. Everybody really wanted, and but really not just saying we are AI first or cloud first, as was in the past. Anyway, sorry, we heard this a lot too much. But once you say it, as this is really disruptive technology, crafting the right communication, initial communication plan is really important, because the majority of people in the organizations, they're resistant to change. And especially this resistance, we believe, is connected to the level of disruption, to the level of change. So everybody's knowing the news right now. Okay, at least we believe that a lot of people understand the potential of AI, even in some extent, which is not healthy and not real, like I'd like to say doomers. But crafting the communication in the best possible way, most efficient way, it's really, really, really important. So this is a joke, of course, but you don't have to say to them that we will make you more efficient. And then, of course, because when you make people more efficient, the next expected step is that not everybody will become more efficient. So, but so don't go that direction. Go in the direction that you provide them the tools to help them to do more with less. So once they can do more, they can even earn more. We have some examples where people are working on in same organization, but they can handle multiple projects. So it's really important from the beginning.
Without having to work, multiple hours more to
Multiple hours so to complete it. So communicating this with developing this initial communication plan with which is expressing your commitment and your vision to adopt to put the organization in the AI field to enable each person of the organization, because again, we are not talking about that our IT and dev team will put this very interesting technology in our product. We are talking that you have to show that you enable each and every person in the organization to be more efficient in whatever they're doing. Remember that if you have, I really like this example from Greg Hope with let's say 50 Porsche 911s or whatever fast car, put it in the same place. Each of these cars are very capable, but together they're not, when they're put it together, they can't move that fast because it's some kind of congestion. And imagine that usually what happens, you have multiple teams in the organization. If you focus on one team, but you're missing other teams, in the majority of time, these teams communicating together. So you're fast as you're slowest, let's say, in the majority of use cases. So your focus should be, of course, they could be stages. You can start with, let's say, power users or whatever. You can craft this in details. We'll discuss this in some of the next section. But at this stage, with the initial communication plan, you have to touch everybody. Let's say you have to go to everybody and to be able to explain to the language used for the different teams how this can help you. You can provide high-level examples. Again, here in this stage, we're talking just to, if I can say, to start the fire.
Yeah, ignite the
idea, to put the idea in your team members. So there's a lot of examples of success in that directions. Of course, it's usually easier for IT organization to do that, or organization which are which can adapt much easier to have this to change their self to adapt to the new technology. But yeah, it's crafting this message in time. You have to plan how you can answer to this resistance, because they will be resistant 100%.
And I think it's very important to tailor the communication message to the actual organization. Sometimes the messages are pretty generic.
Even to the actual teams.
Even, yeah, focusing on
to
specific campaigns for different teams, because at the end of the day, people who don't relate to AI are hard to convince. So there's still, many people across the organizations who actually have a negative sort of opinion or connotation around AI. And we target these folks usually with examples, because they don't have to love AI in order to use it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If we give them enough examples of what they can do with it, especially the pain points, identifying where teams are usually struggling with work and how AI can solve these problems would be very beneficial, right? So it having communication plans that they're tailored for the employees, having people within the communication groups who are knowledgeable in AI and can respond to these questions is also very important, because you want to form. I mean, we're going to have discussions around the CUE and just
In details,
what people we're going to be bringing in, but really the people who are the front facing folks for AI need to understand the technology. They cannot be just random people who are gathered or brought in. They have to believe what they're selling, quote unquote. So
and important, another important part of this communication, initial communication with the organization is that there should be dialogue. So this should not be like putting a message like our town hall, we decided that we'll go AI, that's it. And you should organize or you should plan some kind of campaign. Again, it really depends to the specific use case, specific organization, business field situation. If you are in very competitive situation, for example, biotech and pharma, you may speed up this stuff and you can go a bit faster in details, but there should be dialogue. There should be some kind of option for people to be able to ask questions freely. It could be some anonymous questions. You can create this through the different teams, and for each C-level guy can handle this for their specific teams. Again, we have separate part which is taking over the entire journey, where this cultural change is not easy. But really, the focus here is to ignite the idea and to show the organization that this would be for good. It would be for good. It will help everybody. It will make everybody in the organization better person, more efficient person for everything, not only the stuff related to the AI. This can be like a side effect that you can become more effective in your day-to-day work. And that's the future. This is clear. We discussed multiple times that in nowadays more and more organization are there's more and more organization which are with small amount of people but highly efficient people. I love this interview from Sam Altman when he was asked how much people are working on the ethical stuff and all of the ethical principles. Actually, the question was regarding the election in the USA, of covering the election. And they asked him why there are 10 times less people working in OpenAI. And he said, no, the efficiency is different. So I really love that.
I was thinking about an example in the past about, something similar that has happened. And think about this when the computer was generally kind of pushed into organizations, and you had people who before that were using paper and writing, or maybe a typewriter or something, and you at some point introduced the computer, and you told them this is a tool that you can use to do most of your work directly. And now we see, 2 or 3 decades later, we have so many companies that, all of their employees are basically just using computer. That's the tool that they have. The difference is, it will not take this long to actually infiltrate the organizations. It will take it will be like 5 years, 6 years, maybe, I don't know, where everybody will be using it. I don't know through which interface. That's also going to be interesting, but it's similar. And that's how you can explain also this to folks. You are giving a tool that can do so much for you.
Yeah. And yeah, if we can conclude and give some time for questions. In this first phase, it's really important to build confidence in AI, to show to everybody in the organization, but of course, starting with the leaders, to be confident that AI would be successful and would be part of our lives. It would be part of our organization. It will help us to become more efficient, and it will enable our organization to achieve whatever is specific to our field. So it's really the vision will help us to understand why and where we'll implement and develop the AI. As we mentioned, it's the great example and foundational stuff you can step in is to make people in your organization more efficient. And transparent communication, transparent dialogue. I would say it's even more important than in previous transformation. So we will have enough time. Again, don't spend much time on this. Don't focus much on this. Just because you have enough time on the business outcomes, KPIs, etc. You have much more capable support to do that let's say in the next phases. So yeah, I think that's it from today.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions, we are open to answer. We recently had an interesting workshop we done with our partner organization ITC. To talk about kind of the fundamentals around AI and the history behind it, Gen AI specific. So we'll share this as well, so you can take a look at the recording. But yeah, as you can see, we're passionate about this. We're really intrigued in where this is going. We kind of felt that this is for us at least the next necessary step in the career-wise. So we are investing a lot of time and effort to learn, and hopefully we can give back as far as knowledge goes. So any questions you may have, or future-wise, we are looking to have a more complete shape and form of the framework that we can kind of publicize a bit.
And again, any feedback, it's really important. I hope that the majority of you understand the importance of feedback. So this is this framework. It's under development. It's constantly would be under development. So we'll be happy to hear your story. Moving target. We'll be very happy to hear your story, success or your challenges, in order to make it more complete. The next session would be focusing on most probably it would be next month. At similar time, would be focusing on crafting the AI COE, where there's much more materials, much more. We can get much more from already established frameworks provided by the major cloud vendors like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. And yeah, we've been focusing in the past half a year also we're building some stuff, which hopefully we'll be able to share soon. I would say it's pretty advanced and amazing stuff. As you know, we are very passionate about Gentic, also one of the very early adopters of this idea. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, if you haven't, go and find us on LinkedIn.
You can see a lot of stuff going on there.
We need to be more active on the meetup group. I'll post the recording of this session there, but if you have questions, you can use that as a channel for communicating. We have a bunch of people already in the group, I think 150, 60 people.
So again, please put any feedback. We love constructive feedback. It's helped not only us, but entire community to become better. Also, there's one calendar. We'll share it in the description, where our friends from Team GPT created, and you can see all the events happening in our area. For example, later today there will be a live event handled by AI Foundation engineer. It's very interesting stuff going on.
Yeah.
So
I see that we
let's-
have people that are outside Bulgaria that joined the call, but I think
Yeah.
a lot of this, everything is
These
almost
sessions are in
all in
English.
English.
Yeah, all in English, so you can have a look. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and yeah, see you next session.